Hello everyone, thanks for coming out to this introductory video on the Vitality Draft League YouTube channel. My name is Aridon, Commissioner of the VDL, and today we're just going to talk about a few quick things before we get started in Season 1 here. So before we get started with anything, I want to say thanks to Mop and Eric for helping out a lot during the draft and even past the draft up to this point. I know I'm not always around, and it's nice to have guys like that I know I trust and know are on the same page with me about what the plans are for this league. So thank you again to those guys and everyone else as well for helping things run really smoothly and helping each other and being on the same page with everything. So the first thing I want to talk about here is abilities. I probably make it more complicated than it is, but ultimately we're working with Gen 8 national decks, so any ability availability that is allowed in this game, in this generation I should say, or any previous generations will be allowed. So we can see Unaware isn't allowed on Clefable in Gen 8, in-game at least, but in National Decks, since National Decks takes into consideration all previous generations, Unaware will be allowed, so Unaware is perfectly allowed. The only abilities that really aren't going to be allowed are like Libero on Cinderace, since that's not illegal, or that's not illegal in Sword and Shield, and it's also not legal in any previous games because Cinderace has not been around in any previous games, and neither has Libero. Same goes for the other starters. The fossil Pokemon, their hidden abilities are not released yet because the Mons were not released yet in previous games. And hopefully that kind of clears things up. If there's ever any doubt, you can always just go to Gen 8 National Decks on Showdown, test your team with Validate here, and if there's not an issue, because there's a lot of other issues here because I haven't actually filled out this team, but we can see Unaware on Clefable is not an issue for validation purposes. So that means that we will be using it because we're going to be using the current legality in National Decks. Any of the new stuff that happens because of the DLC for Sword and Shield will not be reflected in the league. So if Garchomp gets Dragon Dance, because a lot of mons are in Sword and Shield, when Garchomp comes over to the games, it will not get access to Dragon Dance in the league because we're going to be working with National Decks, the current version of legality in National Decks. I don't know how to say it. But anything that changes because of the DLC won't affect what's legal or illegal in the rest of Season 1 here. We'll take all that into account as we move on to the next season after that. If there's any other questions with anything regarding abilities or moves or things that are legal, feel free to ask me or anyone else, and we'll try to make sure that if there is an issue, or if there is like some small exception we missed, that we make a decision on it and that everything is fair. Now we're all on the same page, and we all understand things the same. Next topic here is Season 1. Just want to make sure that everyone's aware of the season structure, and a few other changes that might be different from other leagues you've been in. So there's going to be 11 weeks. Each team has 10 games and a bye to fill that 11 weeks, so you can see your team schedule on the spreadsheet with all of that information on it. A big difference for what I've done previously in leagues is that team plus or minus differential is going to be the last tiebreaker for playoffs. If you don't understand what I'm talking about, once we get to the end of the season, and if teams have the same record with wins or losses, but they are both fighting for one spot, or if three teams are fighting for two spots, then plus or minus differential is going to be the last tiebreaker. Why I say it's different is because other times after record, plus or minus differential has been the first tiebreaker. So whichever team had the highest differential would be first in the tiebreaker order. But for the VDL, we're going to have that as the last tiebreaker. As you can see, all of this on the rules doc as well. If you're confused about what I'm talking about and you like it in words, it's all in there. But after overall record, the next tiebreaker will be head-to-head record, and any teams fighting for playoff spots should have played each other at least once because they'll be in the same conference. Then it's going to be a division record if it's determining a division final spot to see who's first place in the division. After that's going to be conference record, so basically non-division record, the 4 games that you played out of your division during the regular season. After that, there's still a tie, then we'll look into plus or minus differential, and if after that there's still a tie, then we'll look into some other options there for tiebreakers. So the TLDR version of this is that your plus or minus differential really doesn't matter, so don't take any risky plays in game to try to preserve your differential, because there's a really slim chance of it actually mattering. It still has some implications, and it will show up on the doc, so things like that, if you want to be safe, you can do that, but don't risk the results of games just to try to have a better differential, because differential really shouldn't matter, hopefully. The last thing here is we're just going to talk about the future of this channel. For Season 1 here, I really don't plan on using it too much, because once the channel starts getting a lot of action, that's just more stuff to do, and I don't think I really have enough time or resources to make that happen right now. And I know people would love to help and do stuff, but for now, I think we should just keep things as simple as possible, see how we're feeling after a season, and go from there. Each week, I'm going to try to record all of the replays and upload them here just in case anything ever happens to Showdown. I know we had a scare with it a couple years ago, or maybe a year ago, or some point within the last few years, where the replays were gone and we weren't sure what to do. And if any mess ever happens like that again, I want to have some kind of database with all the replays on the YouTube channel here, so that we can come back to here if we ever need them. So that'll be kind of a weekly thing where I just group all of the replays up, record them, and call it a video. I'm not going to commentate or anything, it's just going to be there for resource purposes. Other than that, I think that's pretty much it. I wanted to keep this video short, just kind of introduce this channel, make sure there was something on it to get you guys started. If you have any recommendations or questions or concerns or comments or anything like that, you can always feel free to talk to me on Discord or ask any of the other guys that know what they're talking about, because they might be able to help you if you have a question, or anything else that you have for ideas is always up for discussion, because this league has 16 people and I want it to be the best it can be for those 16 people. So with that being said, thank you for watching this video. Let me know if you need anything else, and thank you guys, and have a great first season of the Vitality Draft League.